Hey, YouTube. Here I am today with my 2021 National League North and National League South predictions. I'm doing National League North first due to alphabetical order, out of no disrespect. And same goes and applies for all the clubs. I've just looked and seen where I think they're going to finish. So there's 22 teams in National League North, 21 in the National League South this season. It's a bit awkward. So 22nd in the National League North, I've put Gateshead. They are financially insecure. This does haunt the club a bit. And the manager's inexperienced. The goalkeeper is poor. So are the strikers. There's a list of problems with the squad. So personally, I think they will get relegated pure to not getting enough players in and having a poor set of squad as it is right now. 21st got Chester. Always a risk when you're having joint managers. Could result in split decisions and disunity in the squad, and trying to please too many players will result in a lot of sellages in January. They are still quite an inexperienced club, and I think the fans do get agitated quite quickly because Chester City, the club itself, is higher than this, so they expect the same form from this club. 20th, I've put Leamington. They are gradually declining this side, and I think they'll survive by 1 point. There's only one player who I think is good in this team, and that's Connor Taylor. He has experience at this level, but all others I don't think tend to do. And there's not many fans in this stadium. It's quite a small stadium, so they'll struggle to get the numbers in. Mark Bauer knows the club, who can help them survive, which is definitely where they should be hoping for as a minimum. They don't want to be relegated. They do have a good defence, but again, attacking could provide a problem unless Ollie Johnson decides that he wants to score 20 goals a season again, which means they will be a lot higher up the table. But again, if he's injured or just poor form, then relegation scrap. 18th, Alfreton Town. The squad is actually currently only 8 players, which means they have to fast-track youth, bring free transfers, bring in loans. These are all risks you don't really want to take into a squad. So they need to pull together to avoid relegation. But I think a gradual decline in form is no coincidence. I think Billy Heath has to go as a manager. 17th got Chorley. Last season they only got 26 points, which is absolutely dreadful form. And I think that will continue to this season until Jamie Vermiglio gets sacked. The defence is good, but going forward, they don't score enough goals. Their best striker was Louis Dodds, and he's moving to Hensford Town. And their only standout midfielder is Courtney Meppen-Walter, who is also going to Telford. So I think they look weak in these two positions now. And so little goals are going to be scored. They'll be lucky not to get relegated again. 16th got Gloucester City. James Rowe is still learning the game as a manager and will make the team go on and push away from the relegation scrap to get to more mid-table. They have a good range of players to help them up onto the mid-table. You just need to start working together a bit more. But I can see a good future for Gloucester once they get that new stadium underway. Darlington, I've put 15th. Alan Armstrong is a great manager at being ambitious. However, it doesn't always pay off, and they will drop into mid-season to mid-table. They don't have a recognised goalkeeper. That is a big problem, meaning either an academy product would come through, a free agent, or loanee. Both, I don't think, will be, or any of them 3 options is a particularly good choice. You always want to know who you're getting from the start of the season. 14th is Spennymoor Town. They have an experienced manager, which would push them away from a relegation zone. However, again, I have no goalkeeper. Always a problem to deal with in Pan-Unionist League. And so that will result in a mid-table towards the season's end. Third, Minster Harriers. Russell Penn is an inexperienced manager. So this would be a good, ideal transition season for them. They'll play good football, have good squad depth. And with each stage, I think they are developing and will make it back up the pyramid over time. 12th got AFC Telford United. Gavin Coan will help Telford in mid-table, but will have varying results throughout the season. But I think they will finish strongly. The goalkeeper department isn't their strongest, but they do have two. However, midfield is experienced, but the depth is harsh. Is not like that good in the depth. And if injuries occurred, it is going to be very hard to get them any wins. 11th got Curzon Ashton. Poor goalkeeping is their main problem. But mid-table due to a good set of holding midfielders, so they won't give away possession. So there'll be quite not many goals, but not many conceded. It's key to mid-table to have a good set of midfielders. They think they might push on, but I don't think they will. I think they're not good enough to push on at the moment. 10th is Hereford. Josh Gowling is very inexperienced and is still a player, actually. So I think he will progress over time. Despite this, he will push up from mid-table towards the playoffs. Goalkeeping, again, I keep on repeating this with this league. It's a problem. So to get even into the top 7 without a good enough goalkeeper will make them, it's harsh. They will fall away towards the close season. 9th is Kettering Town, an experienced manager in Paul Cox, who has a combination of good club and bad club spells looking at his record. And you kind of have to hope that Kettering is one of them good spells for him. They always are one of them few clubs where they're now, I'd say, in this season. They always seem to be all right. But they have a good goalkeeper, which few in the league do. And there's a few stars and gems sprinkled through the squad. But there is still an unknown team. But I think they're my team to surprise a lot of people. 8th got Brackley Town. 1 goal in goal difference is all it's going to come down to with the playoffs. They have a poor defence. But Daniel Lewis is a good goalkeeper. And so I think the goal difference will be respectable, but not enough. The manager, Kevin Wilkin, is experienced and has done well with Brackley in the past, but is also not shy from completely reshaping the squad. So could also enable... It may be unstable a bit, but it all depends on who he brings in and stuff, and if they know his style. 7th got AFC Fylde. We'll start the season poorly, but we'll go on to do well at the end of the season, and we'll go into the playoffs and goal difference. Jim Bentley, I think, will get sacked, and it isn't really his sort of job to get a team into the playoffs. He's good at keeping teams from getting relegated, but he's awful when it comes to a promotion. The squad is also good, but I think in front of goal is a problem, and they need to sign new players there. Otherwise, this prediction will be wrong, and they'll be more mid-table. 6th, I've got Guiseley, or Guiseley. They have made huge leaps over the last few seasons, and I think they'll do even better this season to get into the playoffs, because Marcus Bignut will become solo manager. I don't think they'll have a joint manager by the end. And I think they will do better with his sole experience, as he managed to get Solihull Moors out of the National League after 4 years at the helm. So if they wait, I think the results will come their way. And then next season, I think they'll get promoted, not this one. Because they don't have the greatest squad, and I think they will lose the playoffs by quite a margin. I think it'll be quite an embarrassment, but just need to stick with him, and he will reap rewards. 5th, I've got Blyth Spartans. I think they were a bit unlucky last season, to be fair, and they will do better this season and go on to win the playoffs. The manager is inexperienced, so it's always a bit of a dark horse having one of them. They don't have the greatest squad in the division, but this could be a key reason for success, as the better teamwork, there's no star standing out players, could make the team gel together a bit more and therefore go on to get promoted. 4th is Boston United. There's generally a bad squad, but they always seem to make the playoffs. They won't win them just because they don't have any good players. They only the defence and midfielder is good, really. So, but they always make the playoffs, so you may as well predict them. 3rd is Farsley Celtic, a relatively unknown squad that I think they could do well in this league. And for this reason, I think Farsley will make the playoffs, but not win them due to the lack of talent in the squad. 2nd, we've got Southport. Liam Watson has slowly been improving the squad to a degree that playoffs would be a serious consideration by the fans. He also has a great win percentage, and he will have his best season yet, but not quite win the playoffs. They have a great combination of attack and defence, which will result in good results, and will be breathing down first place until the last day. But of course, first, you've got to put York City. They were cruelly robbed of first place due to the points per game system, and they do have to carry on this momentum from last season to this one and win the league the second time, kind of. Steve Watson did it last time. I believe he can do it again. And Harry Bunn is an absolute gem of a player who will win the Golden Boot and get the team up into the National League, and hopefully up again into League 2, where they belong. So now I'm doing the National League because of various things, bodies, expulsion and stuff like that. 21st is Dulwich Hamlet. They currently only have 7 players, so they need to improve from free transfers, loan, academy, but that won't be enough for them to stay up in the league. I think they're going to drop down, be the one team relegated. It's going to be hard for them, but that's going to be the case. 20th, I've put Ebbsfleet United. They'll be relegation form, but which is always quite hard to get out of the mindset of, and it will result in almost a direct drop. They will just stay up, I think, by the relegation space. Despite the massive improvement, they will have at least 2 managers by the end of the season. I can't see that changing. 19th, I've put Maidstone United to survive by 2 points, as Hakin Hayretin has a bad win ratio over the previous managerial spells. He flicks between a win every 3 or 4 games, as well as a massively reduced squad of only 6 contracted players. That will result in them struggling to stay up. 18th, got Chippenham Town with their new manager Mike Cook. He has had an awful record with clubs so far. He got sacked after only 8 months at Gloucester City, and I think this can only end badly for Chippenham. But they have a good enough squad to stay up by winning on the last day, 1-0 or something, but will just stay up. 17th is Eastbourne Borough. The squad don't have a good enough goalkeeper and not the best of defence. Their only good defender is Ian Gale. So shipping a lot of goals. Again, relegation form. They seem to be going the wrong way down the table, not the right. 16th is Hampton and Richmond Borough. The squad is very poor this season, with only 8 players under contract. So again, we'll struggle, dip into the loan market. And the lack of fans here, because a lot of fans in London support other teams and stuff, that makes it struggle for them to stay up or to even make mid. I think they will just make mid-table, but yeah, again, scraping the barrel really. 15th, I put Dartford. They have a strong defence and a good midfield. That will prevent them from falling into a relegation scrap. But they will struggle to find form with a new manager, who I think he had a bit of a beginner's luck really last season. And I think they will fall at the wrong end of the table. I think stick with the manager though, but he may change form around. It's just whether they have the right personnel to make the playoffs, I don't know. 14th got Hungerford Town. A poor squad, they might be. But from getting in the last place last season, it has a kick up a backside effect. They were last all previous season. They had poor football. They'll have poor football again, but they'll have more 1-0s and 0-0s. And so we'll make mid-table just purely due to the squad having an attitude, no, we don't want to get relegated. We want to be better than that. 30th got Oxford City. They've always been mid-table. I think they'll continue that through this season. Have a bit of an inexperienced manager who does need to learn his trade, but he does bring youth through, so that's always a good thing. The defenders are good enough to keep them in mid-table, and so are the strikers, Elliot Benyon and Janai Gordon. It's midfield. Can they get from defence to attack? That's where they will struggle. 12th, I put Welling United. There's a good goalkeeper, a good midfield, and a good strike force, and it's a good start towards the top end of the table. But will end up in mid-table. They will concede too many goals and lose games late on in the season. 11th, Havant and Waterlooville. They have a good squad depth, but they do lack firepower. Shall I say that again? Firepower. Becomes apparent with only Joe Iacofano. Sure, I'm pronouncing that wrong. Being good, but he is only 21. You've got to remember that. But they will push from the playoffs because of their youth and exuberance. But again, not making it. 10th, I got Concord Rangers. They have a set of strikers and not a bad defence, to be fair, or midfield. But it's a mid-table team which does push towards the playoffs. But I think the inconsistency will result in them missing out by 3 points. 9th, I've got Bath City. The manager has done well over the last 2 seasons, and Bath will continue to push for the playoffs, as well as bringing through the youth that they already have. They will finish only 2 points off the players. They do also have key individuals which will help for progress for the club. It is important that they stick with the manager. It's just, will they manage to get to playoffs? I don't think this season necessarily. 8th got Braintree Town. They managed to avoid a double relegation because they were so close last season. And there was none they know they now know the league compared to last time, and they must try and push for promotion with the top defender Daniel Matsuzaka, who played in Japan's under-19s, and the whole squad don't want to be relegated, so I think they will bond together and push and make 2 points off the playoffs. I know, incredibly difficult and harsh, remember. 7th, by a whisker, Tonbridge Angels. A good midfield and striker of Jason Williams will result in them getting many goals, which will make a serious push for playoffs. Finishing just in them on the final day. They will win their final game, and Braintree will not. So, congratulations in advance if you do. 6th, St Albans City. Ian Allinson is an experienced manager. He has reached the playoffs twice while he was at Boreham Wood, as well as having time with the current squad, so they can progress now straight to the playoffs. But will they win them? No. They have good players in all the positions. That will result in a good challenge for the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make it. 5th, Chelmsford City. Robbie Simpson may be an inexperienced manager, but that shouldn't stop them from challenging like last season, and I think they will make it now. But again, they'll lose them like they seem to do most times. But they do have one of the best defences in the league, so I think it might even go to extra time in a final or something and lose then. How harsh would that be, eh? 4th, I put Hemel Hempstead Town. They have a good squad to do much better than playoffs, but many 1-0s, and the goal difference will be consistent and in positive figures, and will be the next step up from last season, or would naturally be the playoffs. They sort of have a bit of a multi-step plan for getting out of the league, I think. And I don't think it will come over this season, but maybe next season. Well, near enough to the playoffs. They have good midfield, play exciting football, and I believe because of that, they'll win the playoffs. Yes, finally they'll be able to get into the National League. 2nd, I've got Billericay Town. It's a mad one again. Jamie O'Hara is a good player, and I'm sure he will be an even better manager and will help them climb drastically up the table. He's going to be a dark horse. I think they'll finish 2nd, have an overall good squad, and they really should be pushing for promotion this season. But I think due to the inexperience in the playoffs, they will fail. And finally, 1st, Dorking Wanderers. They impressed me a lot last season, to be fair, by making the playoffs. Thought they were only going to do mid-table with that. And they will continue that momentum, but I think they'll do one better by winning the league. They have good teamwork and players like Dan Gallagher, Luke Moore, and Jason Pryor. They will do great in this league, and I think they will take the title by storm. I think this one, compared to the National League North, is going to be 10 points or something different. So, I don't know when I'll upload again, probably Thursday, but hope you enjoy. See you then.